not just revise. Type a prompt and generate a persuasive, mistake-proof draft in seconds, personalized to your unique writing style. Download it for free.
Love Mother Earth, protect Mother Earth. Waterways, mountains, do you know what it's worth? A whole lot. One planet, yeah, that's all that we got. Love Mother Earth, one Mother Earth. Oceans and atmosphere, know what it's worth? A whole lot. This planet, yeah, that's all that we got.
Maybe take you a hike, globe trotting the scenery and see what it's like. Keeping the emissions low, you could hop on a bike. I've been keeping my city pure and preserving the life.
We know that climate change is real, we can see it in the fire, man. Some don't believe it, I just don't understand it, fam. For those who understand, making community plans. Shout out to you for lending a helping hand.
Meditation, I'm in the space of the stratosphere. We can never thrive if we are hurt in the atmosphere. Missing every commodity when you had it here, but you didn't care when Mother Nature was shedding tears.
Love Mother Earth, protect Mother Earth. Waterways, mountains, do you know what it's worth? A whole lot. One planet, yeah, that's all that we got. Love Mother Earth, one Mother Earth. Oceans and atmosphere, know what it's worth? A whole lot. This planet, yeah, that's all that we got.
How you feel about it? Let's get real about it. Saw the people Southern California losing houses, sadness and fear, too much to bear. Sending out hope to overcome despair. Positive energy to all the continents. We all feel the pain and the powerlessness. A dose of empathy, gratitude in the music. Climate like all of humanity going through it.
Yeah, man, I hear you, it's too much panic. Overwhelming anxiety engulfing the planet. Flatlands to hills, we feel the frustration. Littering on the turf, the earth feeling impatient. Mind racing, wind hit the trees. The news, families grieve. We planting the new seeds, let's breathe. Inspire community, the earth will be free. And let love proceed.
Love Mother Earth, protect Mother Earth. Waterways, mountains, do you know what it's worth? A whole lot. One planet, yeah, that's all that we got. Love Mother Earth, one Mother Earth. Oceans and atmosphere, know what it's worth? A whole lot. This planet, yeah, that's all that we got.
Hello, I'm sorry, everyone. I just had some technical difficulties. Can everybody hear me now? I'm
Yes.
sorry. Well, everybody was jamming on a whole lot, and you really got to see the amazing work of Jayydon and his team. I apologize for that. Um, so we're just gonna go and jump right in to our panel since we're running behind time. Joining us is Jayydon, of course, the artist and co-creator of a whole lot, working in partnerships with Kingmakers of Oakland to uplift youth creativity and expression. As mentioned, we're joined by his mother, Chantelé Shaw, a committed community member who champions youth voice and agency. And finally, Rincon, a youth ambassador with Hip Hop Public Health, where he delivers important health messages through the lens of hip hop culture. As mentioned in previous sessions, if you do have questions, please just put them in the chat. So let's just jump right in. Jayydon, what made you want to be a part of a whole lot?
Well, uh, I was like invited by my the other person on the song, Jahi, and at the time it was like my first time recording in like a professional studio, so that was pretty cool. And then like I would say at the time, like the issue of climate change is kind of what intrigued me into being a part of a whole lot, because at the time there was a lot of fires, like the LA fires was going on and things like that, and it kind of saddened me a little bit. Um, and like me being able to talk about, something powerful and um like me being able to communicate like that powerful message through my creativity is kind of another reason why I wanted to be a part of it. Uh, and like I knew from my participation that I would, be being paid. So I appreciated that and I felt like appreciated in the end as well. So,
Great. Let's jump into Chantelé. What was your experience as a parent seeing Jayden create and perform in this space? And what do you see your role in helping him and others speak out on issues like climate change and public health?
Yeah, thank you. Um, I'm really proud of my son Jayden, and the other young people that co-created with him on this piece. Jayden has always been a person that really speaks up for his peers, and a whole lot. The climate emotions video, he took something really big, and pretty overwhelming, climate change, and was really able to turn it into some art, music that really helps other people feel like seen, young people feel seen and heard, and was very courageous, for him to do that as a young person. And um, my role, support him and his peers, show up at events, like this, make sure they feel encouraged, they have resources, they have platforms, to share their voices, listen to their ideas, try to connect them with people and resources and organizations that will give them the platforms to do those things. And then to like model what resilience would look like in the face of obstacles when they do come, because there are always obstacles, especially when the problems and the projects feel very huge. Um, yeah, so, like Jayden said, the fires that have been going on, um, he has the voice, they have the voice, they have that perspective, climate is changing, the different um, elements of our youth's lives are being impacted, from sports to how they show up at school to just, everyday thing, whether or not they can practice in the afternoons or they have to start practicing in the morning because it's so hot. The number of days over 100 degrees all over the world is increasing. So just different things like that, and just encouraging them to speak up about their experiences, really.
Thank you so much. Going back to you, Jayden, what do you hope other young people or even adults take away from the lyrics and the
um,
performance of a whole lot?
yeah, well, for me, I hope people can take away like a sense of accountability, for what they can do to actually, make change and to, make a difference and to also like inspire others to do the same. And as far as my lyrics, I just want to, make people think. I hope to make people think and to consider like other perspectives, where climate change, does affect other people. And when you're able to, share a peace of mind, um, you're enabled to be more compassionate and considerate, for the things that they go through. And I truly feel like we should hold like have that same compassion and consideration for the earth because it deserves it. So yeah.
Well, I'm sure that message really came through, especially that hook, right? It's really compelling and it really plays in your mind once you hear it. So great work on the
Mhm.
lyrics to you and the rest of the Kingmakers team. Um, I'll throw it to you, Rincon. You've worked with hip hop public health since high school and now you're starting medical school. What keeps you involved in this space?
Thank you, Jada, for that question. I think I started working with Hip Hop Public Health, which was the team that produced the music video with Jayden, I think 6 years ago. So back when I was 16, I learned about the program, and I think what stuck out to me was the fact that seeing how the music is able to reach young people, right? Like oftentimes, when kids go into the classroom or go to school to learn about a certain topic, they're having people just talking to them and telling them this is this. But when they're able to learn through music, it truly taps into a part of their brain that I don't think any other type of learning really does. And that's why music videos like what Jayden just made, um, are so important and so valuable because they kind of show young people that there's other ways to learn about these really important topics. And when I learned about hip hop public health 6 years ago and the different music videos that they were making for students, I realized that like it was going to be really important to try and get those resources, those songs into the hands of more students. And so what we did over the course of the last 5 years now is we've worked to turn all these music videos one by one into actual lessons that teachers can take into the classroom, use the music videos in the classrooms, and teach students using music instead of just talking to them all the time. And I think it's a really exciting and engaging way to simplify really complicated topics, whether that's something like climate change, for example, in a way that young people can understand what's going on. And then by understanding it, think about ways that they can make an impact in their community and make change. And that's why I've been so committed to the work that we do with Hip Hop Public Health and are so excited to see this collaboration with Kingmakers and see resources like the video that Jayden just showed be shared with more and more students so that they too can get inspired.
A follow-up question to that. How do you think youth voice and creativity can shape public health and climate solutions?
Absolutely. I think one of the my favorite parts about hip hop public health and the resources that we make with creators is our goal is to reach youth early in their life because we all know this that many of the healthy habits and the information that we have as we grow older largely comes from the time we have as kids. It's when we're youth, it's the time when children are most malleable and able to learn and take in new information. And so by educating students with these types of resources, it helps get them started on thinking about important topics like climate change from a really early age. And when we think about how the problem of climate change is going to be something that's going to impact younger and younger generations, it's more important now more than ever that we're teaching younger generations about climate change earlier and earlier. And by using youth voice and creativity, you're able to make that happen, right? Through music videos like what Jayden did, you're able to teach kids about climate change a lot earlier. And also the youth voice, an important thing to mention is social media. I think social media is a really important tool in the sense that it allows us to amplify the messages that we are most passionate about. And I think tools like music and art are honestly the most well-designed types of tools that can be shared via social media so that more people can learn more. So I think that's how the youth voice can kind of factor into making climate solutions a greater possibility going forward.
Thank you so much, Rincon. This will be our last question before we address any questions from the chat. And so I'm going to ask the panelists for this final question. Each one of you respond to what does true co-creation with youth look like? We can start off, let's start off with Chantelé.
Yes, thank you. For me, it looks, like designing with them, not for them, from the very beginning of whatever their creative process is. As adults and institutions and organizations and firms and all of that, being able to take a step back, listen, value what the young person's perspective and vantage point and lived experience is, and taking that as their expertise, creating some shared decision-making structures, giving them access to tools and resources that they can use, or maybe even redesign to help them bring their ideas to life and giving them autonomy over how they do that. And making sure that they are active as partners, not necessarily just, faces that are on the front and forefront of the message, but they're actually involved in that. And, I love the fact that art is being spotlighted, art the different versions and types of art, modes and methods in which it's shared, we use that as people to share stories, right? To make sure that things stick, like Rincon was saying earlier, that's how information is also retained. And so using that to share stories, generation and passing things down from generation to generation, we use music, we use painting, we use other types of visual arts and performing arts to be able to tell those stories. And, giving them space to do that, I think is a beautiful thing, and is relatable. And then also paying them for their efforts.
Yeah,
Like Jayden
super
said, he was
important.
paid for his work, and the appreciation goes beyond the receipt of the art and the work and the display, but the actual compensation for the hard work and thoughtfulness that the young people put into what they're doing. So yeah.
Yeah, that's so important, Chantelé, to really value the work of these young artists and not really take advantage, right? To
Right.
really invest in them and their expertise because they're
Yeah.
really experts at what they're doing, creating the beats, the lyrics, the production, everything that's involved with these videos. Jayden, you want to jump in on what co-creation really looks like with adults and other partners?
Yeah. I would say like from working on a whole lot, I would say like just a safe space for people to be themselves and like share ideas. Um, so they feel comfortable and they're able to do, their best work. And it's really also just about, building community, like as far as the youth. And and also I would say like being able to like enlighten and share knowledge and share like it's kind of the same thing, but I don't know. I feel like just learning, new things so we're able to like as far as the topic, so we're able to, make the best art that we can. Like kind of being transparent with the things that we know. Um and like for adults, I would say just like continue like building and sharing opportunities where kids are able to learn these like important things. Because, like school may not be the most, conducive way for a kid to learn. So like maybe like these institutions outside of school where, it's interactive, things like music, things like other arts like that, like they may receive that knowledge like, better, where they're with their friends, things like that. So yeah, I would, that's what I would say.
That's so good, Jaden. So, so good. Rankin, go ahead on and round us out with this last question. What are your thoughts around co-creation?
Yeah, I just want to echo that Chantalay and Jada were sharing some really important messages. And I think the best way of kind of summarizing that is like the most important thing when you think about youth co-creation is the idea of building trust. Wherever you're working with any sort of youth population, you need to build trust. And it's from the trust that you're able to kind of enact really exciting changes and solutions. When we go into classrooms, for example, to deliver hip hop public health lessons, one thing that I train volunteers and ambassadors from hip hop public health in the most is going in with the idea of being as friendly and willing to build trust with the students that you're going in to listen to and teach them. And what that means is instead of coming into a lesson with the idea that I'm going to be talking at you, instead it's going to be we're going to be singing, we're going to be dancing, we're going to be kind of communicating alongside you instead of at you. And that goes a really long way in terms of getting buy-in from the students that we educate with these resources. And I think that's really important, not only in terms of getting students to open up, but then also having students share their opinions on what we are doing as educators. I think one thing that really stood out to me when we first started piloting lessons that used the musical resources was how students were really open to giving their feedback on things they wanted to change. And we would take that feedback, we would listen to them, we would make the changes, and then when we come back the next week and make the changes, the students would be like, "Oh, that's literally what I said. Like that, we're doing that now." And having them get so excited about that is truly the shows the importance of listening to youth, right? Because when they see that adults and younger adults and older people are listening to what they have to say and actually making change based on what they're saying, it goes a really long way. And I just wanted to echo that as well.
So good. And I think it ties back also to what Dr. Bailey talked about in the fireside chat around active listening, right? Like really leaning in and listening to what, the youth in the global village, are looking for. And so good. I just scanned the chat and the only question I saw was for you, Jayden. Any new projects coming up? With Kingsmakers, personal projects,
Um,
anything you want to share?
well, yeah, I did just drop a EP or like a small album through Kingmakers. I don't know if we could like maybe put my links or something in chat, but yeah, yeah, it's called like New Beginnings, and yeah, it's really just about my upbringing and my love for music. So yeah, I just turned 17, so it's out on all platforms, Spotify. Yeah.
Yeah, you can drop your links in the chat and Rincon. They're anxious to know about any projects that you're working on, anything exciting coming up with hip hop public health.
Sorry about that. I wasn't able to unmute myself. Yeah, so with Hip Hop Public Health, a lot of the work that I do is centered around kind of taking projects like Jayden's and turning it into lessons for teachers and students to use. So I will, once we finish talking today, drop a link in the chat to some of the lesson plans that we have been working on for the last couple of years. We also are hosting educator series that allow people, so we have these really exciting lesson resources, but then the question is how do I actually use them, right? So we are hosting some sessions right now where educators or anyone interested in using the resources, this can be parents, this can be family members, this can really be anyone, can hop onto a call and learn about how to use our resources to educate their children, their students, and really make the most of the resources. So that's some of the things that are coming out on our side of things.
And as far as NEEF, this is actually our second music video project that we partnered with Hip Hop Public Health on. Our first project is called Empower around asthma management for teens. And so you can check that out on NEEF's YouTube channel and also on Hip Hop Public Health YouTube channel and website as well. And also want to put a plug. I saw we have several educators on here. This music video was really a follow-up to an amazing educators toolkit that NEEF put together to help educators really support their students around climate emotions. And so we can also put that link in the chat for all the educators on activities and various projects that we have included in our climate educators toolkit. As well. I don't see any other questions. And so we're just going to wrap up our conversation together and just really want to thank all of our panelists. Let's give them an amazing shout out for the great conversation. Also want to thank Kunli and the entire team of this Young Leaders in Arts and Health Global Summit for being part of this movement. And so as we end, I just really want to encourage everybody, to take some action, right? And just continue to be intentional by creating spaces to spark some powerful conversations with young people so that they can create action and change in their community. So with that, I'll turn it back over to our host. Thank you, everyone.